أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلاة الله وسلامه على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. أيها المستمعون الكرام, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. You're welcome again to our weekly episode on Izihar al-Haq TV. Today we have come with a very important topic which is germane to our life, our soul, our faith, and our development, and that is the existence of God, mystery unraveled. I repeat again, the existence of God, mystery unraveled. Why we have come up with this topic? We understand that the world today is divided, not even today, from the time immemorial, the world has always been divided as to who created the world. Some believe that for we that believe in God, we are delusioned to them. So they've come with a lot of knowledge, scientific knowledge, the knowledge of philosophy, the intelligence explanation of the existence. So this has been the kind of the understanding that everybody is looking for, to get convinced. But as Muslims, we know God exists, but we have come again to come and explain to us how the existence can be validated. So that takes us to some scientific understanding about the universe. According to the knowledge of physics and cosmology, they believe that the universe was launched due to the tiny fraction of a second after the Big Bang. That is the understanding of physics and cosmology. But they did not explain to us what preceded the Big Bang. What was the pre-existence outside the Big Bang? So the knowledge of physics and cosmology did not reveal that to us. But that takes on the ayah of the Holy Quran that says, وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ. Almighty Allah says in the Quran that we have created the heaven with our hands. وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ. We have created the earth with our authority. And when God speaks like that, people don't understand it. How many are they? It is still one God. But this is a choice of language. The Arabic language has plural of respects. When God says inna khalaqina al-insana wa nahnu, a lot of plural personifications like that, it speaks that Almighty Allah respects himself. So whenever you see inna khalaqna, he speaks about one God, but just a plural of respect. So when God says وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ, we have created the heaven with our bare hands, with our authority. وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ, and we have made it so expansive. So the expansion of the world is a mystery that can only be understood and can only be demystified by Almighty Allah. And in the other verse, God says, وَالْأَرْضَ فَرَّشْنَاهَا, that have spread the earth for you like a carpet. فَنِعْمَ الْمَاهِدُونَ. God said, what excellent comfort have I provided for you. You can imagine, we walk in the land, we do everything. This is how God has designed the heaven and earth to suit the existence of human beings. So by going further, there's also a biological understanding about the creation of the world, but the biology focuses on the human existence. So biological evolution explains how the living cells work, and the entire genome is mapped out. The genome is the formation of all cells in the body. But there are a lot of critiques about this. Biology did not tell us how the first living organism emerged from inanimate matter. Because you understand, after the Big Bang, it was about space, matter. So how did the first ever living organism emerged from inanimate matter. That is another mystery that biological evolution did not reveal to us. The eukaryotic cells in biology, that the building block or the building blocks, from the simpler organism to the most complicated living organism, as simple as amoeba and protozoa. Now, how did they advance? What the complexity of development? That's the building blocks. How did the first eukaryotic cell, that building blocks that developed the living organisms to the advanced and most complicated living organism in plants and animal? Biology did not explain this to us. And that will take us to the verse of the Holy Quran, Quran chapter 17, verse 85. God says to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that yas'alunaka 'anir ruh. They would come and ask you about the soul, about the living. Kul, tell them, inna al-ruhu min hamri rabbi. That you tell them that al-ruhu min hamri rabbi. That the knowledge of soul, the knowledge of living is by the command of God. وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. I have not bestowed any knowledge to you except a little. So the little knowledge Almighty Allah has given to human beings is what we are playing around to get some scientific findings about the existence of God. But all still results to a mystery, because for every finding we understand that there's a pre-existence to that finding that are still yet to be uncovered. So that is all about that. And let's go to another verse of the Quran. Let's go to Al-Quran chapter 15 verse 23. God says, Ba'da isti'aza wa basmala wa inna lanahnu nuhyi. God says that we give life. This life you want to know about, that since the inception of the human existence till this moment, nobody is yet to uncover how does life enter the body and how does life leave the body. But God says, He gives life. Wa inna lanahnu nuhyi wa numitun, and we cause death. We give life and we cause it to die. So wa nahnu al-warithun, and we inherit your souls. We inherit your soul. So God says, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. So our coming to life is a mystery that only God understands. How we are going to die, He knows when and where and how every human being is going to die. And He is going to inherit our souls. So that is the understanding about how life came to an existence. Another question we need to ask ourselves is, how did consciousness arise in living things? How did consciousness arise in living things? Human beings, we are created by God in a form that we have the way we reason, we have the way we think, we have our consciousness level. But that consciousness, what is behind that consciousness in human beings, is a mystery that nobody can ever tell. And that's why God says in the Quran, الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمْ سَمْعًا وَلَأَبْصَارًا وَلَأَفْئِدَةً. God said He created for us seeing, hearing, and He has created for us the minds, that the intelligence, thinking. So that is what God has created in the minds of people. The science has not uncovered yet. And where do symbolic thinking and self-awareness come from? Symbolic thinking and self-awareness. Going by the knowledge of philosophy, they have two schools. They have the school of rationalism and empiricism. The empiricists, they believe in the knowledge of five senses, that what you can see, what you can touch, what you can feel. So that is, any knowledge is derived from these senses, from experience. But the school of rationalism, they believe that knowledge can come as a form of intuition. Knowledge can be instinctive. So that rationale behind that knowledge of rationalism is only understood by God. And look at Prophet Adam alayhi salam. When he was created, God asked him, God put him to, there was this examination between Adam and the angels. God said to Adam, say what I've created, that you met as creation. And Adam, the angels were asked these same questions, but they could not answer. They only said, Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim, that we cannot know. How do you expect us to know what you have not given us the knowledge to know? You are the only one that know, the all-knowing, the all-wise. But what we need to understand here is that, as pure the angels are, they did not have, or they do not have, that ability to understand anything of their own except what God wants them to know. Al-malaikatu gilazun shidadun la ya'asuna Allah ma amarahum. They only play to the commandments of God. When God asks them to do something, they are forbidden. That fuwadan that God created in human being, that is a mystery to everyone, that nobody can uncover. God only created human beings to have that mind. And God said to Adam, fa'ambihum bi asmahin. And Adam began to name everything that he never knew of. It was as a result of an intuition, that instinct that came, that he was born, that he was created with. And he was able to pass this test. And the angels said, wow, this was, this was immaculate. And God says, is judu le Adama, that you have to bow for Adam. Fasajadu. And they bowed, except for Shaitan. And since then, he became the rejected. So this underpins the knowledge of intuition that God has created in human being. And we can find a lot of explanations about that among the prophets of God, how they used their intuition to get a lot of things. Even the knowledge of mathematics, the engineering knowledge, these are knowledge of intuition, that it's from the rational thinking of human beings that gave birth to this knowledge. But God created that consciousness, that intuition, that instinctive understanding in human beings. But no science that can explain that. No science can explain why my head works better than you. No science can explain why I can retain things more than you. No science explains how my brain can work in such a higher capacity than you. So these are the signs and wonders of God.